Let the leaves fall, let the perennials in the garden turn yellow, but don't shave down the ornamental grasses yet. You might want to grab some clippings for a fall harvest garden basket at home. We are so lucky to have landscape and floral designer Emily Brooks Wayment with us at Studio 5 today. I have just been picking her brain and learning all about your fabulous kind of path to landscape design. You're so good at what you do, Emily, and you love it.
I love it. It's so much fun.
You love it. Okay, weddings and country club landscapes, they're on hold for another year. So at this point in the season, where does your attention go as a landscape designer?
Well, right now, we're just getting ready to put the gardens to bed.
Yes.
Everything's going down. I love to pile up the leaves actually in the beds so that in the springtime when you pull back the leaves, the soil is actually dark. If you pull off all the leaves inside of your beds in the springtime, it's hard. But if you pull it off in the springtime, all the salt that comes down from the snow actually goes onto the leaves and not into your beds.
So you
can
leaving
pull
it
it
layered.
back, leave the layer on.
And
yes.
that becomes kind of what, vitamin, just nutrients?
Yeah,
for the soil?
and also can mulch down into the ground. And I think we always want to have these pristine like garden beds, but it's actually better for us to layer those leaves on and allow the nitrogen that comes from organic matter just to settle down, and then pull it back in the springtime and let that soil be a little bit more moist and not quite as dry.
Good tip. How are you, as we put the gardens to bed then, how are you bringing the outdoors in? Because you've got an artistic eye toward this chore as well.
Well, I have been loving this amazing fall that we've had. We've had the colors in the mountains have been more spectacular than I've ever seen in my lifetime here.
Agree.
But I have been loving the different types of grasses, how they're having their season. And right here we have, this is an oat grass. It's called a sea oat grass. We bundled this up this morning, and I love that you can take the outdoors and bring it in for your Thanksgiving table. How great is it to have something free from the garden that you can cut and bundle up and bring inside and put it on the table and just like look natural.
So don't put those grass clippings in the garbage or in the compost, but put them on your table.
Absolutely.
She said, please don't put them in the garbage. Yes. Well, what are we looking for though? Because not all grass clippings are created equal.
Well, I feel like there's so many different textures. I can tell you the ones that we have here, and but there's so many others like pampas grass that you could add in. Just a lot of the grasses, sometimes you have to spray with hairspray in order to not get them to go everywhere in your house.
Fly away.
Yes,
from flying away.
Exactly. But right here we have a miscanthus grass.
That is cool.
Down here, this is a Carl Forrester grass that I gathered this morning. And this is a reed grass. Isn't that lovely?
That is lovely.
Has such a pretty look to it.
Yeah.
This is called Carly Rose. I love how it blows in the wind. It's just a really pretty
there is something romantic
grass.
about grasses, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, the neutral colors kind of bring their own mood, but the movement that you talked about and just the imperfect construction of how they sit and stand and fall and flop, it's really fun.
Absolutely. I think they each have their own characteristic.
They do.
Just like individuals do.
Yeah, they're people too. They have personalities too. Okay, so we can put them in a vase, and you said the hairspray tip is a good one to contain some of the more delicate pieces that could fly away or break away. A bowl, though, you're kind of proposing this idea of a harvest bowl. Explain this.
Well, I can show you right here.
Yeah.
I brought a bowl, but you could also add it in with grass. You can also do it in a vase like this one right here. This was gathered last week, so this is a week old, but look at how it's not really making too much of a mess.
Yeah.
And I feel like the gathering looks so pretty. You could also, I tried actually spraying it with gold, and it did not pick up on it. So that's just an FYI. You could try to spray it if you have leaves on it, spray it with gold and add that little bit of beautiful kind of glam to it.
That glimmer.
Glimmer, exactly.
Okay, don't judge me, but I did this with my mums pre-Halloween. They were already on their way to dead. So I sprayed them black, and then I put a hint of the metallic touch that you're talking about.
Absolutely.
And it did add kind of a spooky, I mean, I don't know. I need to perfect it. But the idea of the metallic sheen being kind of reflective or catching the light is a cool technique, I think.
Absolutely. Let me bring this pot over so you can look at it.
Are you horrified that I told you I sprayed my mom's black?
No, I think it's actually great. Kind of haunted, but it's great.
It is. It's spooky.
So this is just you could use this on a table, or this is some ideas that you can actually add to your fall pots outside.
Okay.
This right here is it's a yarrow, a type of yarrow.
Okay.
And it's beautiful yarrow, and then we also have echinacea.
Yes.
And I have some stock here, and you can plant it in here. We had the pots just put in here, but you can plant it in your pot with soil. It should last you until Thanksgiving, but you can also put it outside. It will not last till Thanksgiving outside because these are going to look brown.
They're going to get cold and
but
tired.
they will come back up next spring if you do plant them outside.
If they're in the outdoor soil.
All of these will, except for this one will not bloom until both of these two won't bloom until next fall.
It's probably part of what excites you about landscape design is kind of the strategy. Like, I'll plant this now, I'll enjoy this later. There's a whole strategy to that, right?
Absolutely.
Can you give us some planting tips if we did want to pull the grasses in, some of the more freebie opportunities out in Mother Nature? How might we plant that in the most pleasing way to the eye, like height or?
So there's different levels of grasses. I think that you could use a different layering effect. You could use a miscanthus grass, a Carl Forster grass, and you could also use, I think there's some gray grasses that would be really beautiful. Blue fescue would do really well. It would look, there's an Elijah blue fescue would look great on the table. Any
tips in cutting these grasses to give the most optimal look? Or?
No, you couldn't even probably use scissors if you wanted to.
Okay.
It's not, and I feel like there's grasses everywhere, even on the freeways. We have some beautiful grasses, but people tend to just clip them off and throw them in the garbage. And instead of doing that, why not bring them inside?
Yes, okay, what are you gonna show us today?
So I'm just gonna show you how, so this is right here. I just wanna show you the differences. So this is wheat, and I just want you to know the difference. So that's what normally people put on their table for Thanksgiving, but that's not what we're actually doing for that. So, okay, so I'm gonna pull this apart and then put it back together and add the grasses in. Does that sound good to you?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, we'll pull it apart.
So break it down and then build it up.
Break it down and build it up. We just put, I put some soil in there. Let's just see, here we go.
You just got individual pots all coming together in one bowl.
Yes, in one bowl. So we can also use the poppies. I want you to think about, I'll probably add in right now what I know will come up next spring.
Okay.
Because that way you're able to use it. If you wanted to add color in, these are just ornamental poppies and they will come back up next spring.
And are these readily available at garden stores?
Yes,
okay,
absolutely.
Okay, even now, at this time of year?
I think so.
Okay.
That's where we get them from. But you can add them in, and then we're just going to add dirt. We'll add dirt around it. You can also add moss to the outside or to the inside of it. And
there's something I think really charming too about designing for the now, like the month of November. How am I going to grace my home, grace my table with these beautiful colors and grasses? It becomes a really creative art.
So I'll just pull it out and plop it in.
Here we go.
So this is the Carly Rose grass. You can put it in the center of it. You can add it to the center of your centerpiece. Sorry, I have one little pot in the center right down here. And I got a little bit of dirt underneath this, so we need to bring it down a little bit.
So that grass becomes the statement.
It can become the statement piece, yes. And then you can add all sorts of different
to fill in around.
Yes, to fill in around. So these are just the annuals that I have right now, but there also are some bulbs you could add. You can add tulips, you could add hyacinths, you could add pansies to it, and they'll come back in the springtime.
So point on the table, it doesn't have to just be wheat that we're dressing up or laying out for Thanksgiving.
I think you could also clip back I'll use this one right here because maybe we'll mix it. Let's see what happens.
Look, this is her brain at work. See, this is what I love, just observing the experts in the wild, in their element. She's humming.
Why not clip it back? Let me just grab the right clippers. I think I have some right here.
What do you need?
Where they go?
We got
this is great. I'll pull it right here. You're good.
What is this wire used for?
So that is just bind wire, and you can use it to tie it together, to tie the wheat or the oat grass together.
So it's more stable at the base?
Yes.
Okay. Where do you get this bind wire?
You can buy it on Amazon.
It's nice that it's a natural tone, so it just becomes part of the arrangement and not a distraction. A distracting mechanic. Okay, we're about done. Here we go.
Here we go, yep. Just we'll stick a couple more plants in and
look at that.
Make it look beautiful.
You have a living, moving, gorgeous, kind of unexpected centerpiece for Thanksgiving, and obviously we can enjoy for weeks before that as well. Emily, thank you. You make it look so effortless, but it was so fun to see your brain in action.
Oh, you're so sweet.
And see it through your eyes. Where can we see more of your work online? You have some exciting projects.
Oh, I'm just on EBW Design on Instagram.
EBW Design.
Or Emily Brooks Wayment.
Okay.
Or abwdesign.com.
And Christmas is a busy season for you.
Absolutely.
She's like, yes, actually it's already started, right? Second Halloween's over.
I've been doing Christmas
all
already.
eyes toward the Christmas trees. Do you share snippets of your projects online?
Yes.
Okay, I'm excited to follow along. It was lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm going to scoot over, so this isn't in my front line, but I sure love it, and the movement that you pointed out is lovely too. Thanks so much, Emily.